A lot of the things that we take for granted today, people had to fight for us to get here.
There's so much that we've overcome and achieved, but there's still so much.
Yeah, we have a long way to go.
Yeah.
You won't win if you don't apply.
That is
basically. So I'm like, I put myself in these spaces.
You're not going to please everyone, and we're not here to please everyone.
Yeah.
You're only there because we're just balancing the numbers, or you're only there because of your face or your legs, that kind of thing. So I get excited when I see people like me in like leadership and doing very well,
Your net worth is your network.
Your net worth is your net worth.
I tried so hard to get it right.
And like, how do you understand?
Hi guys,
Welcome back to another episode of Just Chats with
Tshegofatso and
Masego. We're so excited that you guys are back again. But we just want to say thank you so much for all the support that you've shown us.
Thank you guys. We're dropping an episode every month, by the way.
On the 15th.
On the 15th of every month, we're here dropping an episode.
Yeah, so we just want to say thank you so much for the love that you've shown us. With the previous episodes, just sharing your experiences, sharing it on your social media, giving us your feedback and reviews. It means so much because we're opening up with our experiences and our lives, and the whole point is so that you can like relate to what we're talking about, and hopefully it will impact you in a good way so that you can improve your lives, and maybe even like you can impact someone else's life. So that's the whole point why we record our conversations.
Yeah, and today is no different.
Of course.
We're gonna just chat,
and we thought that it would be perfect for the month of March to have a conversation around International Women's Month, because it is International Women's Day, or was International Women's Day on the 8th of March. So happy International Women's Day to all the women out there. You're awesome. We see you. Keep pushing, keep grinding. So what does Women's Day mean to you in general?
I think it's a time for us to be able to like actually look back and celebrate. And I actually want to say something, but I'm not sure of the facts. I saw it on Twitter, but they were saying like, I think, I forgot where, but like somewhere, like, okay, I wouldn't say the specific date because I forgot, but like when the first time women could open like a bank account.
Sure.
And I was like realizing that a lot of the things that we take for granted today, people had to fight for us to get here. So I think I haven't really thought about it like that in previous years, but seeing that tweet really changed my perspective, that now we're like, for example, with me or the content I share, I'm like, I'm here to empower women. We can do this. We can get into tech. But it's like realizing maybe like even like 20, 30 years, 50 years back, we couldn't even be in those positions, and how big of a step it is. So I think, International Women's Day, International Women's Month is a time for us to kind of celebrate how far we've come.
Yeah, I think that's a big one where you say, when you have the conversations, you realize that actually this was not a norm a couple of years back. I was having a conversation with one of my colleagues, and he mentioned that one of the countries in our region at work, the women were only allowed to drive like less than 5 years ago.
Wow.
And I was just like, we're tired, right? And they just got into that, just feeling the empowerment of being able to be allowed to drive. And I was just like, there's so much that we've overcome and achieved, but there's still so much to do.
We have a long way to go.
Yeah. So with me, International Women's Day or Women's Month is all about, as you said, celebrating all the achievements that, or the stepping stones, or the milestones, that women have achieved. And I think it also helps, as you said, to realize that there are so many things that we take for granted now that women have fought for. I know that there's some jokes on social media where like, women fought for us to work, and we're tired, but it's such a privilege. It's such like this. They fought so much for us to be here. And I thought it would be great for us to have a conversation about what that means to us, the women that raised us, because they also paved the way for us as well. So that's the conversation for today. So let's talk about our journeys, obviously, because I think that's possibly, like, that's the best way to relate to National Women's Month.
Okay.
You're a woman in tech.
Her.
I mean, you're a woman in tech, and it has always been a male-dominated industry, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Is it still a male-dominated industry?
It is still a male-dominated industry. I think even like in varsity, you could see in the class like the percentage or the ratio of like men to women. So it is even in the workplace. Like sometimes even today, I'll be like the first woman to do something.
Sure.
So yeah, it's still a very male-dominated field. But I think that's why I really like social media, and that's why I like to post my content, because I'm seeing like a lot of women in the field. There's a lot of like support groups, like women in tech. It's like we say it as a joke, but there's a lot of like women in tech, like groups, communities that people can join. So I really like that, and I think slowly but surely we're making some progress. And I think also having that representation also is really important for people to see, like, oh wow, like okay, if she's doing it, I can do it too. Like, because it's really hard sometimes when you just see like a room filled with people that look nothing like you, and it's like,
so true.
It really like it affects you mentally. You're like, okay, maybe it means that I can't get there, because so when people are sharing their experiences as well and saying like, no, I did it, you can do it too, it's so motivating. And yeah, that's why I also like to share my content as well.
Why did you get into tech? Like, especially because I know, I mean, like, we grew up together.
Yes.
So I was like, what is this girl doing with IT and all of this? You know, like, I was so shocked with your subject choices in high school.
Yeah.
So, like, what got you interested? I know we've spoken about this, you've spoken about this on your main channel, but what intrigued the interest of moving into tech?
I think for me, I've just always just been a liker of things. So back in 2014, I used to have a blog, and I'd write about fashion, beauty, or whatever. And then on the blog, I was like looking at my blog, and I'm like, why does my blog look like this? And other people's blogs look so nice. And that's when I started learning about coding and what, like, it's like, oh, okay, if you do like these funny characters on a website, it looks so beautiful. So I started learning like HTML and CSS. So that's how I got into it.
Still doesn't make sense to me. But
yeah, so basically, like, HTML and CSS is what you use to build a website. It's a language that you use to build a website. So that's how I learned how to, like, that's how I got interested. And then I was like, oh, okay, so there's many, like, programming languages. There's so many, like, and you can do different things. And that's when I started, like, wanting to understand the different things.
Sure. Now I'm trying to think about that, because honestly I was just like, I don't know what the hell this I don't understand the language she's speaking. I was like, I'll support you, but I have no idea where you're going with this whole thing, because I went, like, my subject choices were like almost the opposite of what you did. I mean, you did IT, physics, and hospitality.
I left it open just in case. I have different ways to go, just in case.
Actually balance. Because with me, I did accounting, physics, and life science. It's also like, you know, just in case you do balance. But I knew that I wanted to get into health sciences. I still didn't know which career I wanted. I just wanted to get into health sciences. And I remember when I applied, my marks were not great. And I was just like, how am I supposed to deal with this? Especially like when everyone around you, all your friends from high school are being accepted. And you feel like you're a failure. You understand?
I actually think that's a good conversation for another day. Next podcast episode.
But so like I felt, I was very, I was very discouraged. And the thing is that it was difficult because you can't share that with your friends in detail, because they're going through the time, you understand? We thought we'd all be going through that. So everyone was being accepted. I know people going to different universities. And I remember having the conversation with Umami, our mom. And she was like, no, take a gap year, you know, you'll do your license, all of that. And I was just like, I think that meant so much to me, because she didn't pressurize me, go say, come on, do something, you can't stay at home, you know, kind of thing. And then the plan was that I was just gonna take a gap year and figure it out. And then remember we were going through the newspapers, there was an opportunity for a learnership for a health science role. I was like, what is this? I've never heard of that role in my life. And I applied, I went for an interview.
And she got it, girl.
I mean,
she was wearing a red dress to the interview, I remember.
I remember because Odile went with me to the interview. I remember we called a taxi from Pretoria to Joburg.
Yeah.
And I was like, Johannesburg is insane.
Scary.
It's scary. But I went for my interview and like things changed in like 2 weeks. From a point where I was like, I'm taking a gap year to a point where I was like, okay, I've got a learnership, I'm getting a stipend.
Yeah, wow.
I'm getting paid for going to school. You know?
Yeah.
So that has changed. And the journey through like the 3 years of my diploma were tough. Because as an 18-year-old, because it's a learnership, so we had the practicals and the theory.
Okay.
And because it's health science, I think there were more practicals than theory.
Okay.
Because it spent like 2-3 months in the hospital.
Yeah. And how was is it a male dominated?
No, at that time, it's because it was close to nursing.
Yeah.
So nursing is mainly, according to my understanding, female dominated.
Yeah, okay.
But I think it was the fact that I was so young and already, because when you walk in there, you walk in as a student, but you're still an employee.
Yeah.
So I still don't understand, the politics of the workplace.
Yeah.
I'm just a kid, I'm just a baby, and you're best friends with 50-year-olds, you're enemies with 40-year-olds. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And I remember my mom's like, just get your diploma, this is your stepping stone.
Get your degree?
I mean,
no, that's all.
No. So I got my diploma, and then I worked in a hospital for a total of 2 years.
Okay.
Then I realized, let me try something else.
Yeah.
Then my diploma was really a stepping stone for me to get into medical sales.
Yeah.
And that's where I am.
She's flourishing.
And I love it.
Yeah.
And that's where my passion is, because even though it's corporate,
yeah.
Because a lot of people in corporate say we don't save lives, we save PDFs.
Yeah.
We save it both.
Yeah. Real.
And I really like that. I love it. I honestly enjoy it. It is stressful. It is demanding, but it's also very fulfilling to me. And I mean, like, it enables me to go to like different destinations,
Can go to my vlog channel to go see our Turkey vlog.
So that's where I am right now. And that industry, I feel, is male dominated. Things are changing.
Medical sales.
Yeah. Okay. Things are changing, especially in my field, because I'm in orthopedics.
Yeah.
So things are changing. You can see a bit of equality and equity here and there, because I feel the companies that we work for are also pushing that narrative.
For that step, yeah.
But it's still male dominated.
How do you feel about that? Like, for example, I've gotten, because I share content about being a woman in tech, and I've gotten comments like, oh, you're probably only getting that because they're trying to balance the numbers. And
you're gonna get it no matter what. I get comments about, I remember I was at a hospital, and someone was like, oh, you dress like you're going on a date. And I was like,
what does that mean?
And I felt bad, because I then started questioning myself. Was it, am I really like overdressing for my role? Is my dress too short? And I know for a fact that it wasn't.
True.
And that came from a male, you understand? And I know he was insinuating that that's why I'm here, or how I'm getting the business that I'm getting, which is crazy, as you were saying, which you're only there because we're just balancing the numbers, or you're only there because of your face or your legs, that kind of thing. So it sucks, honestly, because we are
doing the work.
The fact that now we have to work twice as hard to prove that.
So do you feel that?
Yeah, I feel it. I feel it. But sometimes I'm just like, I can't change how they think, because they've already decided, no matter what I do, no matter how I try to explain it, some people will always have that kind of conclusion. The best I can do is just make sure that I'm doing the right thing with integrity. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no. I think it's the same with me, that it's like, I've gotten to a point where it's like, let my work do the talking.
Sure.
Like, you can't argue with my work. Like, you can say your comments, you can say whatever you want to say, but once you look at the work that I do, like,
So you said that you get those comments from like social media.
Yeah, I've always even shared on my social media. At work, I've never had any like negative anything. Like, it's always been good. I think even when I started, it's been like I was like the first female developer there, all of those things, but I've never had any sort of like, it's all been from like social media and stuff. And honestly, I've also like I've grown now. My frontal lobe is fully developed. I'm about to have, it's almost a year now with my full frontal lobe. So like, I'm even like now not even arguing with people on social media, because it's like, people at work know. Like, I'm doing well at work. Yeah. So why am I going to argue with people on the internet that don't know? I'm not trying to prove myself to people. And I'm like, I'm here. I think my main thing that I'm trying to do is like, motivate. As I said, I'm trying to show women out there, like, hey, like, we can do this. We can get into these spaces. We can do these things. So it's like, if those people are seeing me, I'm happy with that. I'm not going to argue with people. It's hard sometimes, because it's like, that one negative comment, but then just reminding myself, like, why am I here? Is it working? I'm seeing messages like, hey girl, like, I just started studying computer science, or, I got this internship, I'm doing this boot camp, but I'm like, that this is why I do it.
And you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, no matter how well you do or how good you are. People will just not like you for the fact that you've got blonde hair piece today. You understand? Like, it's just random stuff, and it's okay. It is what it is. You're not going to please everyone, and we're not here to please everyone. What matters, as you said, is that you're showing up for the people that need to see people like you in those spaces. And I always feel like, when we used to assist the matrics with applying for universities and the NSFAS, and I was like, like, you'd go to a school with like 200 learners, and you'd make arrangements to come assist them with that. And then you only get confirmation. I remember we only got confirmation from the principal that only 4 learners were going to show up on that Saturday.
Wow.
I said, that's literally 2%. Probably like 2% of like 200 learners, And I was like, I'm driving all the way, like over 60 kilometers just to go assist 4 pupils. And I said, I'm going to do it. And you have to show up for those people, because those are the ones that need us the most, the ones that want to better their lives and see, like, have a good future.
True.
So no, I definitely agree with that. So don't stop doing all the great work, girl. We see you, the girl that need to see you, and that's all that matters, because representation is honestly everything. I get excited when I see people like me in like leadership and doing very well, and I feel that I respect them even more, because I don't want them thinking that I'm underestimating them, because we're like black girls. You understand? I even treat them with more respect and be like, okay, this one I need to make sure, you understand?
True.
But also, I also want to talk about black women in leadership roles. You said you haven't had any experience with people like pushing you down or holding you down. Have you heard any stories of people that are under women of color or black women that are just like, I've made it and I want to be the only one here?
True. I've seen on social media people say comments about that, but I don't know, like, because it's like, for me sometimes it's like, it's the specific person that you're dealing with. So now if you just wanna
generalize,
like, so it's like, I think also like, for example, just with a small business, right? People tend to criticize a small business so harshly, but they don't realize that more established business had so much time to get to where they are now. And sometimes, like, I'm not trying to justify if someone is not acting correctly, like, that's wrong. And I'm not trying to justify anything by saying that. But I think what I'm trying to say is, like, we have a smaller, like, pool of, like, for example, if you're looking it's looking at like 200 male leaders, right? And you'll say, like 5 of them are bad. But then when you're looking at like maybe like 3 women, and then one of them is bad, and I was like, all black female leaders,
because the ratio is
very so I'm not saying if someone is not treating people right, then it's wrong, but it's like, and it's also like, I don't want it to sound like I'm justifying anyone's actions, but it's just like, maybe also like we're just being so harsh, because like, I think people also don't realize how hard it is. Like, for example, like, you will try maybe to show up as, you see, like, okay, maybe the guys lead like this in a certain role, let me try to show up the same, and then now all of a sudden, like, oh, she's not like like strong and like whatever. She just wants to chill and play around. And then now the next day she's like, okay, now I need to now be like the boss. I can't be. And then like tomorrow, like now she's so it's
she's
like
aggressive and she's very emotional.
She's an angry black woman, So
yeah. No, I think that's a big one, especially when people generalize and stereotype, saying that women are bossy or aggressive or emotional. And I feel that, as you said, if maybe you have a male leader who is playful and then a female leader who's playful, they're like, she's not standing on business. Whereas the attitude is the same. I think that's the other thing that there's so much work that still needs to be put into how we see the different behaviors. Because I remember reading some stats somewhere about the fact that a lot of males apply for jobs
that they don't.
They're shooting their shots. Whereas a lot of women are like, oh, I don't qualify for this, so I'm not going to. And then men apply for them, and I'm not saying that, but stats show that a lot of men apply for jobs that they
are not qualified
or like meet the maximum criteria, but they still have the confidence and the confidence that, you know what, I'm gonna try, I'm gonna shoot my shot, I might make it, Whereas women, a lot of women
tick all the boxes.
Exactly. So the whole point, what I'm learning is that obviously you need to meet some criteria, but I feel that do not beat yourself up too much. I don't know how you feel. Someone once told me that when you're given an opportunity and you're not sure whether to take it or not, take it. How do you feel about that? Like if, for example, they say there's a project at work, can you please head it for like this month or this quarter? And you're like, shucks, I've never done this.
So if you're not sure for your skills, maybe it's something that you are committed to, but you're not sure
about your skills.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm that kind of person because like I'll see comments, for example, on my social media, and people say like, "How did you start your candle business? How did you?" Like I started running, and then I signed up for a half marathon, and I'm like, one day I said I want to make candles, so I made a candle.
Honestly, so I think you're a special kind of person.
And I actually just wanna like, I think if there's anything, this like, I'm really into like I'll figure it out. Like I'm not the first
person. Learn as you go.
Like I'm not the first person to ever do this, and so I'll figure it out. So I really believe in that, and I think also, like, for example, you're saying like, oh yeah, a special kind of person, but it's like, I think when people ask me like, oh, how did you start your co-tutoring business? How did you start your candle business? How did you get there in your career? It's like, this is how I did it. Like, if you wanna go for stuff, go for them. Like, there's so many things. Like, the other day I was just thinking about how, like, I think I've won like 3 or 4 giveaways because I just like use a silly example, but I'm like, I just apply and for these giveaways, and like you won't win if you don't apply.
That is basically so true.
So I'm like, I put myself in these spaces. I think one of the best things that's ever happened for me is the YouTube Black Creator Fund that I got in 2022.
And the reason we've got these mics.
I got these mics, lights, everything, guys. So I think like even for that, like I remember I had to write like a motivational thing, and I sat and I wrote, and I was like, I put myself.
You have to put yourself out there.
Yeah, like, put yourself out there. Like, unfortunately, like, so once in a while you get those people like, oh, like, I was headhunted or whatever. Yeah. But, like, that's not what happens, like, to most people. Yeah, so it's like, if there's something you want, you're gonna have to go and chase it. And that's why my most cliche thing that I always say everywhere is that you need to know what you want in life. Why. Because, you need to know your why, because now you can't think like, oh, now you're just applying for everything because maybe I will get it, because I'm supposed to be putting myself. But it's like, okay, what do you want? What are you trying to accomplish? Then you can put yourself in those spaces, put yourself forward, and also makes it like there's also, especially in the career, we don't like to talk about it because I 100% believe in that. Okay, if I'm working my 9 to 5, I'm starting at 9, I'm finished at 5 or whatever. But unfortunately, there's gonna be those days you need to put in a little bit of extra, like depending on what you're trying to accomplish in your career. Like I remember earlier this year I was doing a course. I remember that like I was just like, just staying up, like and in December I was busy writing essays and so it's like if you wanna get into certain spaces, yes, you don't have to meet all the criteria, but you also need to be willing to do the work as well.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to sacrifice here and there.
Yeah.
But I think the main thing is that know your why and know your boundaries. Because I think people can fall into the trap is that, as you said in the beginning, I'm gonna push because I wanna get into the space. Once you're in there, don't forget to also have your boundaries because, guys, what is it? Mental breakdowns happen. Fatigue happens, exhaustion happens, and you're human. You're not a machine. Even machines also need.
Yeah, because I think like in my second year of working, I was like, I remember I did a video like burnout, and I'm like, it's my second year. I have like how many more years to go? So it's like you also need to remember, like even like 2024 for me was really about taking it slow a bit. Like I pushed like 2020 until 2023 I was pushing, I was in my grind era. But then you must remember that okay, like sometimes relax and say, you know what, I kind of did that, you know, and just celebrate. And then now I'm back in my grind era.
I'm like,
let's work, guys, let's get to business. So it's also about balance, and it looks different for everyone. Maybe someone's like, I'm gonna grind for 3 years. Maybe it's saying like, okay, I'm gonna push for 2 weeks and then take a 1 week break to like it all. Once again, like we're not sharing advice, so just sharing our stories. I'm like, it all depends on you. What works for you will work. We're so different there. So
like when you said after this filming you need to record a TikTok, edit this and cook, I said, girl, I'm just gonna read when I get home, you know, and just relax because I know that I'm pushing, you know, during the week. But I think, as you said, it looks very different for all of us. But I think with me, when it comes to like also like women or the representation that we see in the workspace, is I'm very curious. Unfortunately, we cannot share our experience as mothers, but I'm very curious about how moms leave the workspace to go on parental leave or maternity leave and coming back. Because, or even parents, because that's dads as well. Parental leave would say, how do you leave and then come back and continue? Are you expected to continue as you were because you just went through a life-changing experience and still going through a life-changing experience? Like how do you understand? I think we should actually get some guests who have like that kind of experience, who can share their story, because we have no idea.
I have like no clue. I don't even have like friends, anyone around me that has really gone through that. So I have no clue.
I got better when my friends went through that, because I don't know better, you know. I judge people at work, be like, why is this person not like showing up, and why is this person not stepping up? But then it's all about adjustments and all working together as a team. But obviously if the person is slacking, they're slacking. But then it's also understanding what it's a very interesting topic, and it would be nice to hear it from like the horse's mouth. So
let us know if you want us to feature you, if you want to tell us about your journey.
But so I think that's a big one. But I also wanted to speak about the women in your life that have that have like you've looked up to, who've encouraged you and be like, you know what, I can do this, I've got this. Like, let's just talk about your circle for now. Like, how does that look like? Of course I'm there in the middle.
I think like just like for even like I'll start with our mom, because I was even actually thinking about this the other day, like just thinking that like, you know that quote when people say like parents are also doing life for the first time, you know, and just realizing that, you know, at some point she was just like an 18-year-old girl from the township, but she managed to get to a point and give us this life. Like sometimes people only think like success is like, oh, you need to be like looks a certain way, like but it's like, no, actually I'm like girl, how did you do it? Like I'll really think about it. I'm like, you know, that's a lot. So I think seeing that, I think also our mother gave us like a lot of freedom. It's like about, that's why I think I'm so big on like what do you guys want to do? Like follow your passion, follow your heart. And I know it sounds cliche or whatever, but I think that's what I've always gotten. Like
we're not told what to do.
It's like, you know,
we receive guidance,
but
freedom of choice, and once we made our decision, we still got the support, even if I'm sure deep down in our heart it's not what she would have wanted for us. But she's like, as long as they're happy and they this is going to lead to their success, I'm going to be behind them.
So I think just the supports, like I remember like I was doing like math Olympiad, hockey match, tennis match,
chess,
quit hockey the next week, and like my mom is just there like every week like, okay girl, you know. So I think that support really means a lot, and also it helps you like being given like that space to try different things, and you can finally say, oh okay, like I found my passion, or like I found my thing, because I was given the space to try out so many things. I think that support. And then I think also my sister, her. Yeah, I mean, we got a podcast together, so surely. But I think also just having like someone that's like, is just like the testing life things for you. Then I see like, that won't work. I'm not doing that. Like, you know, like I sing it as a joke, but it's a big thing, because like honestly, I have never, like usually never gone through things like first. Like I always see things from you, and it's really just like I feel like I just have like like that's, I'm like now one step ahead, because I'm seeing like how you're doing things. It's like not even sometimes even like one step behind, because I'm like like I have a sister to do certain things for me, because like, you know, so I think like I really have like a great like support system. Awesome. And like women that I really look up to, my mom and my sister, that are around me.
Oh, that is so awesome. No, I agree on that. Our mom is amazing, and as you say, she's always spoken about that support or success is not just finance. You know, you can't measure. That's what we were taught. You can't measure someone's value in your life by how much they bring to the table in terms of money finances. And I think that is one of the biggest lessons we've ever received from our mom. But as you say, like when we talk about when she was still young, and we go through the photo album, and she's like, this was me. We're like,
this is why we're like this. That's why we like things like this.
This was when we went to the nightclub.
And I was like, you just like me, girl.
Like it was sort of like when we're at work, I took a picture with my male colleagues. And then I remember I was like, oh shuck, there's a picture of Umami when she has I said, I'll follow in her steps. And I think that has set such an amazing example for us. Even the work ethic. Like our mom is a nurse, and she shows up for work day in and day out. Like even our dad, like that's one thing I think we've also learned from them. I mean, like even from high school, when we were sick or couldn't go to school, you felt guilty until after school. Then you're like, okay, now everyone is going home. Now I can relax. But our mom is amazing. She is. She's been my role model in different aspects of life. As I've gotten older, she's become a great friend. So shout out
to
my
friend too.
So that's why I'm like not best friend, because but she's been such an she's still our parent, but she's such she's still our parent.
I think that's also like. She also does that very well.
Very. Like I don't know, I'm stressing me out. Like how do you do that?
Yeah, because like you can say, "Hey, girl," like, "Oh my gosh, like this is going on." Yeah. And the next day it's like, "Hey, relax."
But I think I feel that our parents did an amazing job with the both of us.
You guys let us know.
They were super strict. But as you said, they were doing it for the first time, and for them to raise two girls who are just like, we're gonna do it, whatever it is, we're gonna do it. And I think they've also maybe healed some parts of themselves. Maybe if they didn't have that confidence and they see the confidence within us, that's a win. A win is a win, you know. So the first one is definitely our mom. Second one is my sister, who, as I said, sometimes I feel it's a bit abnormal the way she can be like, actually, I can do that. We were talking yesterday or last week at High Rocks. And what we were talking about? We were talking about Iron Man. And you're like, I can do that. I said, that's cool. It's crazy.
I did High Rocks, no training.
And I think being when you and I have our chats. And it's not a competition, it's encouragement. People need to understand that. When it's sort of like, you know what, this is how much I've invested, or this is how much I'm saving, or this is what these are my goals, and you're like, yes, this is the person these are the conversations that I'm having with this person.
Like that's your net.
It really
net worth is your network. Yeah,
no, your network is your network.
I tried so hard to get it right.
And honestly, that is the absolute truth because I see it with the people around me, even with my friends.
Yeah.
When we have conversations, and it's not like guys, it's not like every day we just like business.
We also know I'm gonna be on a top playlist. I mean, please, like
it's the conversation.
Name 5 I'm gonna be on a
not now. This is standing on business.
Yeah.
So like my friends, it's also great having the conversations with them about progressing in our careers, how you're dealing with work-life balance, what are your goals? Okay, this like what with one of my friends, she was like, okay, this year I pushed this, and this, and this. Next year I'm saving. You understand?
Real.
The other year we're traveling, so we're like it's a balance. You know, we have, and it's so important to have the conversations with the people around you because if she can have the conversation with me saying this year I'm saving, I already know how far her and I are going in terms of spending money. You understand? And then you just balance, and that's how your friendship grows. I think because it's not always gonna be soaring. You know, sometimes it's just gonna be like choosing.
Going back. Sitting at home drinking tea, friendships.
Exactly. So with my friends, and I'm also going to mention our aunts. They've been great, honestly, great role models. And it's so interesting because I feel like with the aunts that I'm thinking about, they didn't have the jobs that they didn't work in spaces that we worked in. But the fact that they were working women and they ran households the way they did.
Yeah, like I think honestly a lot of black women like have been like even people that I don't even know.
Yeah.
Like I see them and I'm like wow, and like seeing like single mothers making sure their kids get through university, making sure like I can't even think of examples, but it's like it's so like obviously I'm not one to support like struggle and like I'm not into that at all, but I'm just saying, you know what, shout out to them.
Shout out.
Like,
No,
you know, like
I don't know how they do it, and that's why we celebrate women like that. And I mean, the whole point is breaking the generational curses. I mean, if your mom or your parents can sacrifice so much so that you can have a better future, guys, let's try not to let them down. You know, like you understand. And I know we also don't do it on purpose. Life happens, but when you think about how much our parents have sacrificed, you're like, the least I can do is just go a step ahead. So definitely our aunts, because I'm be like, even their budgeting is proper. You know, they had like accounts at Edgar's and Woolies. And they didn't run it like I did. You know? They were very strict. They were very savvy, with their finances. And also with our cousins. We have cousins that are our age, and then we have cousins that are like a couple of years older than us. And you look at them and you're like, degrees, and if not degrees, like skills, you know. And it's so encouraging when you have those conversations. And honestly, those women have shaped us, and we are here because of them.
Real.
And we don't say it often, because but I just want to say
thank you. We love you loads. Like that's like it takes a village. Basically, because it's like all these women that are in our lives have shaped us in some way.
No, most definitely. And with me as well, even women in the workspace. Like when I just started, yes, there were challenges here and there. Some people not for you, some people are rooting for you from like the get-go, you know. So like when I go to like hospitals that I used to work at when I just started, like yo, you know, and you're like, this person is genuinely
and there's
happy
people that just really, really love to see you win. Because I know I was busy saying the haters are out there, whatever, but there's also so many people that
are rooting for you.
Like there's people that I know have been watching my channel since like 2020 and have grown with me. Like when I was like, hey guys, I'm back, I'm in my third year, and I'm like, hey guys, 4 years as a software engineer, like damn. But people have been there, and it's like also shout out.
Shout out to those people. So I think. No, we have an amazing community. I mean, even when we post the link of our podcasts,
it goes on everyone's statuses. Join our community, guys. It's Just Chats TM on TikTok, Instagram. And on all podcast platforms. You can catch our podcast.
So the women around us, they are a force to be reckoned with, and we hope that the girls that are coming after us, so the women that are coming
Real.
after us, they see us as a force to be
Like
reckoned
that
with.
quote that says, "Empowered women empower women."
I mean,
Yeah, because like like we're like as we grow and we get better, we wanna take people
most
with
definitely,
us. Yeah.
most definitely. I think there's also a quote that says that strong women or incredible women, we were raised by them. Let us be them. Let us raise them. And I'll put it there in the description. It's one of
Yeah.
my favorites because it's all about the fact that people paved the way for us, and we need to just keep continuing doing that. I feel that's one of my favorite things in life is that you don't have to have an impact on 100 people. Have an impact on one person, and they don't need to return the favor to you. Let them return it by having an impact on the next person.
Drops
Nah,
mic.
So yeah, so that's that's how I feel. So yeah, that's how I feel about International Women's Month. Celebrating women. It's not easy. It's still tough, but we've come a long way, and we need to celebrate all the wins.
Real.
Because the wins are what also keep us going.
True.
We're like, hey, we
So
got
real.
this.
Yeah.
We got this. And also, honestly, we also have a lot of people that are allies, like male allies. They are men men that are out there that are also fighting for women to have equality and equity. And shout out to them because I can't even imagine being in a space where maybe majority of the people on the table are like, these women are not supposed to be here, and you stand up as a man or a male and you're like, no, they deserve to be here or she deserves to be here.
True.
So shout out to you guys. We see you and we appreciate you, and thanks for fighting with us. But yeah, so any pearls of wisdom?
Closing remarks. Yeah, I think just guys just let's keep these conversations going.
Yeah.
All the time. Like we know this is International Women's Month where we're highlighting this, but let's always have space for these conversations. If you're creating like content, if you have like maybe a community at work or anything, like let's keep doing it. Yeah.
No, let's keep. I know the theme for this year for International Women's Day is Accelerate Action, and it's all about I think career advancement. And I think it's so important to have, as you said, have these conversations with the people in your workspace and outside. And it's, as you said, don't let it be an occasion, have it on a day-to-day as a casual conversation about where you've been, where you're going, who's been there for you, breaking biases, having the conversation about bias. It's one of my favorite topics. Like you learn so much when you're like sitting with people and they're like, as you said, women are supposed to do this or men are supposed to do this. And it's it can also like it can clash, especially in a country where we have so much heritage with like 11 official languages and different cultures. People be like, at work you're like that, but not at home. So like it's also very interesting to find out how women balance that, because at work you're girl boss, at home are you girl boss, or you 50-50 or yebo baba. But it's very interesting, and we're not taking away from the cultural part of it. We're just empowering women, because you can't say I'm less because I'm a woman.
True, because I think for example, like what all the women have fought for all these years is for people to have a choice.
Yes.
So I think that's the most important thing. Is that whatever you're choosing or whatever you're doing is your choice. And with that.
But I just want to say you're an incredible woman, and don't stop what you're doing. The haters will always hate, potatoes will potate, but you have so many people that are rooting for you. Some are even are not strong enough or confident enough to tell you that, but you know what it would have meant to have someone like you ahead of you. Know what I mean? But yeah, so shout out to you, and shout out to all the amazing women out there. It's not easy, but you're awesome, and we are working towards something, and there's so much change and so much progress that's happening. So so shoot your shots, at work. Not
everyone has a choice. Shoot your shot anyway.
But we'd love to hear from you about what this conversation or this specific topic means to you, and the experiences that you've had. Let's talk about this. Let us have conversations. And Yeah.
That's us signing out. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in once again.
And yeah, we please appreciate your support. Please like, share, subscribe. Everything. Really, this is how we grow.
Yeah.
And when you share these conversations with other people, this is how the community grows.
Share this to a wonderful woman in your life.
I mean, actually, so that's a good one. But with that note, happy International Women's Month, and we love you.
We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.